Hey there, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of Steven's podcast. Now, normally I was going to do an NBA game, but then, of course, the biggest breaking news just came in, so I figured I'd do the podcast tonight. So, yeah, welcome to tonight's podcast. Tonight I'll be discussing the latest head coaching and general manager positions and the fate of every NFL team that got eliminated in the wild card round. And then, of course, finally to end it, I will be doing my predictions for the divisional round. Oh boy. Anyways, let's get this party started. And we're going to start off with the latest breaking news. The Jacksonville Jaguars signing Urban Meyer, the first team to get the pick in the draft this early, just signed. There is the first team to sign a head coach, and it's Urban Meyer from Ohio State. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So now I want you to do this. Grade the Urban Meyer signing from A to F. What would you give the Urban Meyer signing? Would it be A or F? A, B, C, D, or F? That's what I should have said from the beginning. I mean, seriously, Urban Meyer was Jacksonville's number one pick from the beginning. And they got him. Who would have thought? I mean, seriously, the guy really did an amazing job guiding two national titles with Florida and one with Ohio State, and setting big-time victories in college football. Now, here he is in the NFL. Who would have thought Urban Meyer would actually get the chance to be a part of the Jacksonville Jaguars organization? I mean, seriously. Who would have thought? If it were me, I'd give it an A because the Jaguars did an amazing job. They got their head coach out of the way, and Urban Meyer got stuck with the team that's going to change their organization around. They got the number one pick in the draft. They got the pick. They also have a second first-round pick that the Los Angeles Rams own, but the Rams are still continuing, so better pray the Packers win this week. So yeah, I give Urban Meyer an A. So I give the Urban Meyer grade signing an A. Because he's going to be the team that turns Jacksonville around. Sure, it's going to take a couple of years for that, but still, I think Urban Meyer is going to turn this team around. As a Tennessee Titans fan, I should be scared of this, considering the fact that I saw his records. I mean, seriously. Whether he drafts Trevor Lawrence or whatever quarterback back, the Jaguars' future is looking bright with Urban Meyer as the head coach. I mean, seriously. I'll give it a few more minutes. Okay, now we move on to the next topic. I want to get this out of the way because it's been the craziest one all week. The Dallas Cowboys. I mean, seriously, the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, seriously, they hired Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator, and it's crazy, by the way. My honest opinion, my honest opinion when I made the video, I trust Dan Quinn, but I don't trust Mike Mularkey. I don't trust the guy at all. I don't trust Mike Mularkey. That's why I can't be honest with Dan Quinn. I mean, seriously, I trust Dan Quinn. I don't trust Mike Mularkey with him. I mean, seriously. The guy turns everything to dust, and I'm pretty certain Dan Quinn made a huge mistake. I mean, if it was another team, I wouldn't be saying that. But anyways, Dallas Cowboys also made a shocking move when they brought in Joe Witt Jr., Mike Mularkey's old companion from the Green Bay Packers. And it was expected that he would be defensive coordinator, but then Dan Quinn came along, and now he's the secondary coach. So now I'm going to... For those of you who are not watching, you can comment down below after the show is over. What do you think? Oh, crap. What was it again? Oh, never mind. And that's the second question. What do you think of the Dallas Cowboys signing Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr.? I mean, seriously. I know most of you typed that up, that Dan Quinn is most likely going to be is going to turn this team around. But with Mike, but I would agree with all of you if it was Mike Mularkey as the head coach. I mean, seriously, I can trust Dan Quinn, but I don't trust Mike Mularkey. I mean, seriously. I do not trust Mike Mularkey. That's the reason why I said what I said. And I would do an apology video if the Cowboys somehow make the playoffs with Mike Mularkey as the head coach. But the Joe Witt Jr. signing, after Dan Quinn got the defensive coordinator job, I thought Joe Witt Jr. wasn't going to go anywhere else, but they found a way. But the Dallas Cowboys found a way to get him on board, and that's being a secondary coach. Man, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Okay, now let's move on to our next topic. It is the Doug Peterson situation. I mean, seriously, Philadelphia Eagles. Who would have thought they'd be the ones to release Doug Peterson? I mean, seriously, who would have thought? Who would have thought this might happen? Which is why I'm going to put this in my next. Who will be Philadelphia Eagles next coach, and where Doug Peterson will end up next year. That's right. Who will be Philadelphia Eagles next coach, and where Doug Peterson will end up next year? Comment down below where you think might end up. Simple. If it were up to me as a Philadelphia Eagles head coach, I would seriously go for the guy that's best suited. But right now, they are looking at Arthur Smith at the moment from the Titans. I mean, seriously, we will get to Titans as soon as we get to the eliminated playoff teams. I mean, seriously. The Eagles, who would have thought they released Doug Peterson early on in the season? I mean, seriously, early on. I mean, this is ridiculous. Who would have thought they released Doug Peterson this late? I should have said this late. Still, that takes a lot of big names off the board. I think I see Doug Peterson going to New York. I mean, seriously, I can see Doug Peterson in that Jets as a New York Jet coach, because Doug Peterson has connections with the Jets general manager. I mean, seriously, I could see Doug Peterson as a New York Jets general head coach next year. As for who the Eagles might hire, this is a tough call. They got a lot of good names. They have a lot of good names right now. Comment down below what the question. Comment down below your answer to these following questions. We're right now on the Eagles and Doug Peterson's. Comment down below. Please feel free to also answer the two following questions above as well. Because right now the Eagles, they got a lot of candidates. They're even interviewing Patriots inside linebacker coach Mayo. I mean, seriously, the guy is not. I don't think the guy is ready to be a head coach. I think this has gone way too far out of hand. They gone way too far out of hand when they tried to interview Mayo for a defensive coordinator gig. What in the world are the Eagles doing? They obviously are desperate right at this time. They got a lot of candidates. Arthur Smith is one of them. Robert Saleh is one of them. But who would have thought Mayo would be on that list? My God. Eagles are desperate. Man. Now we move on to our next topic, and that's the general managers that got signed so far, and minus Nick Caserio, that general manager was signed before the wild card round. I'm talking about this week's general manager signings, yesterday's with the Denver Broncos, and today's Detroit Lions and Carolina Panthers. I mean, seriously, who made the best? Which team? I'm commenting down below. Which team made the best general manager signing? The Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions, or Carolina Panthers? Please feel free to comment back your answer to that question as well. Which team made the best general manager signing? The Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, or Carolina Panthers? Because obviously, my answer is Denver. I mean, seriously, George Baton obviously was the best choice for Denver Broncos, but there's also the fact that Brad Holmes being signed means that that the Detroit Lions are gonna be in for some big time stars, and they got the 7th pick in the draft. I mean, seriously, the guy is the Rams college scouting director, and I think that could change my mind. I think Detroit made the best pick. The Lions are going to be in for some big time. The Detroit Lions are going to be in for the best picks of them all. Best picks of them all. They got the 7th pick in the draft. Who would have thought this may happen? Jacob Stevens, welcome. We went through a lot this week. And after I get these 4 questions out of the way, we will move on to the eliminated playoff team, the eliminated wild card teams that after this we will move on. After we get these 4 questions out of the way, we will move on to the eliminated playoff teams, and then finally move on to the divisional round predictions, because I'm pretty certain I need to get that out of the way. Who's your pick for Rams versus Packers? Jacob Stevens. I'm going to do that as soon as I get the eliminated playoff teams out of the way, because I want to do the story, these following questions, these following reviews on the eliminated playoff teams before going into my predictions. Right now I'm just recovering from the first 4 questions above. I put them down below before answering. Once we hit the 30-minute mark, we move on to the reviews for each playoff team. Is Rodgers MVP? That one I can answer right now. Yes. I mean, seriously, the divisional round's not even starting, and we get one crazy NFL week. In fact, I better get. Do you think Adams versus Ramsey is a good matchup? Yes. Yes, I do agree. Yes, I do. Ooh, better. I have to say Devontae Adams. Adams, based on how so far he played, but I will get to the total predictions as soon as I get the eliminated playoff after this. But you can ask me those questions. That one I can agree with. Let's go. That's my answer. Now we move on to the eliminated playoff teams. Now, here's how it works. I'm gonna review all the eliminated playoff teams from the wild card round from start to finish, and then and then I ask a couple of questions on what their future is going to look like. We're going to start off from the teams from that were eliminated first to last. So basically, we're going to start with Indianapolis first, since they lost to Buffalo, since that game was the first one to go. Here's the thing. Indianapolis Colts. They ended up losing to Buffalo and giving Buffalo Bills the first game victory, their first victory since 1995. And now here they are. I can't even describe that how this may happen, but Indianapolis Colts, their defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, is one of the coaches that is on the line to becoming a head coach. Their left tackle, Anthony Costanzo, is officially retired. I can't even imagine what they're going to do. So that's when I'm going to ask this. What will Colts do with their left tackle situation? Because basically, Anthony Costanzo, he's gone. So Indianapolis, they got the most money. They got one of the most monies. They can bring in a left tackle during free agency, or they could draft one. They got the money. Maybe they can trade up with the New York Jets to get that second pick in the draft. Like that would happen. To get that other tackle out there. We took Jared Valdir from the Colts. Yes, you did. But he ended up on the but he tested positive for COVID-19, and now you can't use him this week. Yikes. So yeah, Indianapolis, they have a left tackle situation, and now they could have a defensive coordinator problem if Matt Eberflus leaves to take a head coaching gig. But right now, he's not appearing. But right now, his news is as quiet as a mouse. So far, he made interviews with the New York Jets and Los Angeles Chargers. After that, he's been a bit quiet. But with the Urban Meyer thing out of the way, I think Matt Eberflus may cash in with the Chargers right now. I mean, seriously, the Jets, they're still focusing on Arthur Smith. I mean, seriously, you have Doug Peterson. You're connected. Ooh. Oh, I heard about that. Sorry for the language. Jacob, you have to be careful what you say, because who knows who may be watching. But here's the thing about Indianapolis. They have the money to do it. They have the money to bring in a left tackle to replace Anthony Costanzo, because if they didn't, then they would be in bigger trouble. In Indianapolis, they're going into this next season with one of the easiest schedules. Sure, they got the AFC East and NFC West, but here's the thing. One of those AFC games is going to be a rematch of the wild card round. COVID-19. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And one of the Colts games next year is basically a rematch of the wild card round. Yeah, Colts are going back to Buffalo next year. And all AFC South teams, they get the AFC West at home, and they go on the road for AFC North. So basically, the Colts will be hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, but they will be heading on the road to Baltimore, who is still playing, by the way. See, Cruz, don't worry about it. If you climb up, you'll see the questions I asked so far. So, as well as the one on top right now. I mean, seriously, Indianapolis, they got to figure a lot of things out. They have to see if Phillip Rivers is the quarterback they want. Otherwise, they have to get a new QB. They got to replace Anthony Costanzo because he's retired and therefore need a left tackle. Oh, I mean, take a look at I think you should take a look at Colts' schedule right now. They get a rematch of the wild card next year. So basically, they're going back to Buffalo next year. They get Buffalo and Miami on the road. They host the Rams and the Seahawks. And they're on the road for Arizona, which, by the way, has the AFC South's pain in the neck, DeAndre Hopkins. I can't even describe it. And they also have and the Colts, they go to Baltimore next year. I do not want to be in their shoes. I do not want to be in their shoes. So basically, they got to keep, and they also have to keep an eye on their defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, just in case he ends up going somewhere else. If he leaves, they have to find a new defensive coordinator, which Tennessee Titans I will be getting to soon, but after Washington football team. But after Indianapolis, I'm going to do the. God, who was eliminated next? Oh yeah, the the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, now we move on to Seattle. Some said that that's the Rams. A practice in fridges to get prepared for the cold day fight to Green Bay. If you checked out my injury report, Jacob Stevens, you know that you would find some of the Rams are ruled. 2 of the Rams are ruled out. I mean, seriously, I do injury reports. And, oh my God, I did not see this coming. Seattle won the division, but they lost to their division foes. Makes me wonder makes me wonder, is Los Angeles Rams the real NFC West champions? I mean, seriously, this has got to be one of the craziest years by far. And then Seattle, they went ahead and fired their offensive coordinator, Brian. God, I can't pronounce his name right. But the point is, yeah, Brian, he's fired. And now Seattle has to look for a new offensive coordinator, which makes me to this question. Who will Seattle hire as their OC? Because apparently the Seattle Seahawks head coach and offensive coordinator, they were having problems, and that's probably. I think it's funny when they said that they need to get prepared with fridges. You guys are heading to Lambeau. What did you expect? But anyways, yeah, Seattle, they're in a heap of trouble. they have to hire a new offensive coordinator right now, and sources say that right now they're targeting Los Angeles Chargers offensive coordinator, which I don't know his name, by the way. But if I do look it up, I'll let y'all know. But still, yeah, that's who they're targeting. The Los Angeles Chargers offensive coordinator at the moment. Because his style of offensive plays are exactly like Seattle's. I can't even imagine. I mean, seriously, Seattle, you need. I can't even imagine why Pete Carroll is going to be. Also, I did not mention this before, but general manager John Snyder signed a massive contract extension up till 2027. That's 2 years ahead of Pete Carroll. I cannot believe that. Does this mean Pete Carroll is going to expire before John Schneider does? What a crazy week. What a crazy week. All the teams I wanted to win lost. I should be lucky that I got two of the teams I won their games, and it was Colts. No, wait, it was Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I cannot believe those two are the only teams that won their game that I got correct. I mean, seriously, Tampa Bay and New Orleans were the only teams that didn't let me down. Green Bay versus number one defense and Packers with number one defense. I will get to that matchup the minute we wrap up. And now we move on to Washington football team. Washington, they should call themselves Washington Wildflowers right now, because I think Tom Grossi ought to start a petition of changing the name to Washington Wildflowers. Still, Washington football team. Obviously, not a very good game, but still, I knew that the winner of the NFC East was going to lose to Tampa Bay either way. Still, Washington, that was not exactly a good year. That is not exactly a good year. They are looking for a new general manager. I already know someone in the Tennessee Titans already is being called up. I already saw someone from San Francisco getting involved. I mean, seriously, Washington, I can't even describe it, but right now, Washington, they're focusing on a general manager. They're focusing on their QB situation. Could that Taylor guy be the starting QB, or will they move, or will they use a free agency or the draft to take a guy in? I would be shocked if they get Mac Jones from Alabama. Because they already messed up Dwayne Haskins. If they were to draft a quarterback, that quarterback's fate would be sealed. So I would avoid Mac Jones. Because Mac Jones definitely deserves better than this. But right now, Washington, they're focusing on a general manager. I see a familiar name from the Tennessee Titans on there. I see someone from San Francisco getting involved. Whoever this general manager is, obviously has to get Washington football team back on track. Because they're like buffering right now. Because they're basically buffering right now. I mean, seriously. Washington football team obviously took a lot of risks, and they only made the playoffs because the NFC East stunk out loud. I mean, seriously, they stunk out loud. Oh. Oh. I'm not even going to bother asking who the general manager is, because whoever this general manager is obviously has a lot of weight on their shoulders. I mean, seriously. Whoever this general manager is obviously has a lot of work to do before Washington can consider themselves contenders again. I mean, seriously, the NFC East is the worst division in NFL history. For once, I agree with you, C. Cruz. I agree with you. Oh, man. Man. I have to agree with C. Cruz. NFC East, worst division of them all. And now we move on to my team, the Tennessee Titans. Boy, oh boy, not the way you want to go out. Not the way you want to go out. And you know what else? Today is the 5th. Today, 5 years ago, Tennessee Titans signed John Robinson as general manager. Happy 5-year anniversary, John Robinson. You guided Tennessee to 3 playoff appearances, one of which was this year with us losing in the wild card round 20-13 against Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, you got a lot of work to do. Because that year was wasted. That year was wasted. And I've already gotten word Tennessee Titans. They're looking into a defensive coordinator right now. And you're not going to believe this. Terrell Austin. They are looking into Terrell Austin right now. I cannot believe out of all the names. Why Terrell Austin? Well, it's simple. Dean Pease is connected to this guy. He was the secondary coach for Baltimore back in 2012 through 13. And I know what you're thinking. I know. Detroit Lions, Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator back in his previous days. And right now he's the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary coach. And I'm going to get to Pittsburgh Steelers after Chicago. Which is obviously going to be the best for last, by the way. Anyways, yeah, Tennessee Titans, they got a lot of work to do. Right now, they're looking into a defensive coordinator right now. At least they're trying. After contacting Terrell Austin. Well, Terrell Austin contacted them, but still. The guy originally wanted to become Titans head coach before Malarkey was even hired. Now here he is getting a second shot with the Titans. True, it's a lower position, but still. Anyways, yeah. But Tennessee Titans, they are at least trying to replace Arthur Smith just in case he leaves. I mean, seriously, today they tried to get in contact with Clemson's offensive coordinator. I can't even tell. Ryan, hey. Glad you can make it. We're now talking about the Tennessee Titans after a lot of topics were made. And I just explained that Tennessee Titans, even though they lost in the first round, I told them that they were at least trying. Terrell Austin was one of the was the only candidate right now at the moment to try and be a defensive coordinator. He contacted them. Sure, Terrell Austin may have been a last-minute candidate, but still, if he's connected to Dean Pease, I think he's going to be a number one contender for that defensive coordinator spot. And at least Titans are trying to replace Arthur Smith in case he leaves. I mean, seriously, Arthur Smith, he's on a lot of teams' names at the moment, but the team that has him on the number one spot is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have him on number one spot right now. Right now, he's interviewing with the Philadelphia Eagles. He is scheduled for another meeting with the Detroit Lions tomorrow. And then we got word that Titans, they were trying to get Clemson's offensive coordinator on board, but he rejected it, and he rejected Miami Dolphins because he wanted to stay in Clemson. I don't even know what the heck is going on here. I hope Titans have a plan B, just in case Arthur Smith leaves, because that Clemson offensive coordinator was their plan A. Which is why I'm going to bring this up. Which team Arthur Smith will go to and who will replace him as Titans OC. I just wanted to ask this because just in case the day happens. Because right now, part of me is saying that he will be the Atlanta Falcons head coach because the Atlanta Falcons are looking at him right now. And something tells me Tennessee Titans, now that they lost out on the Clemson offensive coordinator, my guess is that they're going to promote someone from the inside. Some guys like Keith Carter, Todd Downing, Tony Dews. I would be shocked to see if Tony Dews gets that promotion. Because it's not going to be Bill O'Brien because he's going to be the offensive coordinator for Alabama next year. Yep, Urban Meyer heads to NFL and Bill O'Brien goes back to college. Whew. Talk about irony. I would be shocked if Titans bring in someone who got fired as their offensive coordinator. Crazy. I know, right? But still, if Arthur Smith does end up staying, I would be okay. But if he does leave, I think it's going to be someone who is still in the organization. Like Keith Carter, for instance. Keith Carter, he led this offensive lineman very good, even with Taylor Lewan out. I mean, seriously, the guy led the offensive lineman very good. Then again, there's also the possibility of Tony Dews, because Tony Dews, he led Derrick Henry to who he is today, the running king. Then again, there's also Todd Downing, the tight ends coach. Basically, he runs the same system as Arthur Smith. And though it can't be Pat O'Hara, no way it could be Pat O'Hara. But still, imagine if that does happen. So yeah, that's my answer. That's basically my answer. Arthur Smith would go to Atlanta, and if someone replaces him, it's going to be someone in the Titans organization. But if they do decide to bring in someone from the outside, I would be okay, as long as it's not someone who's suckish. Because Tennessee Titans, they got a tough schedule next year. They, like I said on the Colts thing, the AFC South will be taking on the AFC East and the NFC West. But for Titans, they get Buffalo and Miami at home. They got New England and New York Jets. I would call the game at New England a rematch of the wild card round if Tom Brady was in it. But no, he is on Tampa Bay now. I mean, seriously, the guy is not exactly. Worth it. And the Titans' AFC West opponent, who they're playing at home, is Kansas City Chiefs. And they go on the road to face Pittsburgh Steelers, but I will get to Pittsburgh Steelers after Chicago and what is going to happen. So now we move on to the Chicago Bears. Dun, 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 because Tennessee Titans aren't the only team that's looking for a defensive coordinator. At least not the only wild card team, by the way, because look at it. Because Chuck Pagano retired, which means Chicago Bears, they're also in a running for a defensive coordinator. Or they could allow their head coach to pull a Mike Vrabel. But I highly doubt it. No one's going to pull a Mike Vrabel move, especially after losing a big-time game against the New Orleans Saints. Especially after getting blown out by the New Orleans Saints. No way, Jose. And we got word that their general manager and head coach are staying. So now I'm going to type in this. Who do you think will be the Chicago Bears DC? And it's kind of big. Chicago Bears, they have, like all of the teams that need a defensive coordinator, Chicago Bears, they have a lot of names to consider. I mean, seriously, right now, Tennessee Titans, they're looking at Terrell Austin at the moment. Chicago Bears, they really need to get going after Chuck Pagano got the retirement official. I mean, seriously. I can't even tell which defensive coordinator is most fitable to Chicago, which is why I can't answer the question. But still, whoever this defensive coordinator is obviously has to get Chicago's defense up and running. I mean, seriously. True, the Chicago Bears, they were doing fine, but then they stunk a lot. And made the playoffs the 7th seed. Are you kidding me? They made the 7th seed and became Nickelodeon's first NFL game. Did Chicago knew that if you make this, did Chicago Bears knew you can make Nickelodeon if that happens? If they do, I think they would have stunk a long time ago and just moved on to victories after that. I mean, seriously. Chicago Bears, obviously, I can't believe the Bears made it into the playoffs 8-8, and we did. Oh, if you're talking about making the playoffs 8-8, oh, but we did make the playoffs this year with 11-5. and yet we couldn't win once, and yet we couldn't win at home. Unless you're talking about Miami or Las Vegas. Oh yeah, Miami. Yep. You got the 7th seed to blame for that. If the NFL didn't consider a 7th seed, Chicago wouldn't be in there. Now we move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who suffered a major loss against the Cleveland Browns on their home turf. And now, today, we get crazy breaking news on them. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. I feel like Pittsburgh Steelers are taking a bow right now, because not only did they lose to Cleveland in the wild card round on their home turf, but now multiple guys are leaving. Not players yet, coaches are leaving. Offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, tight end coach, defensive back coach. Well, the tight end coach did technically retire, but still, the other 3 were technically gone. And you could face a potential 5th if Terrell Austin takes that Tennessee Titans offer. Or any other defensive coordinator gig. Which is why I'm bringing up my next question. Will the Pittsburgh Steelers recover from this coaching mess? Because seriously, 3 of their coaches are gone, one of which, the 4th coach, gone, retired, and now they could face 5 if Terrell Austin leaves to take another job. I mean, seriously, Pittsburgh Steelers are falling apart right now. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars get hurt. C. Cruz says nope. If Terrell Austin does become defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, that's going to make 5 coaches gone, and that could and basically basically us Titans fans are going to be branded bullies to the Pittsburgh Steelers when they already lost most of their coaches by choice, by their own choices. Well, the tight end coach chose to retire, but still, the other 3 Pittsburgh Steelers threw them away. And yet if Terrell leaves to take that Titans defensive coordinator gig, they're going to call us bullies? Big Ben, why do you even have to bother going back if the Steelers coaching staff's going to fall apart? I mean, seriously, they are wasting lots of good guys on you. I mean, how much? I mean, Big Ben. The Steelers are giving up a lot to keep you around. I mean, seriously, this is obviously ridiculous. I mean, if Ben Roethlisberger sticks around this year, it's going to be over $40 million in his contract. This is obvious. This is obviously a bad timing. But then again, what is Pittsburgh going to do? Draft a quarterback? Hey, maybe you could pull a Jordan Love move like the Green Bay Packers did. I think they should make the same move Green Bay Packers did, because Big Ben's not going to play forever. And hey, if you drop Mac Jones, you would be ready for when he's ready for action. But Mac Jones is an instant starting quarterback. I don't see how he's going to fit into that Pittsburgh offense as a backup. I feel bad for Chase Claypool. His talent is going to be wasted. I agree with you, C. Cruz. I agree with you. I mean, seriously, Chase Claypool. I feel bad for you, man. I may be a Tennessee Titans fan, but I feel bad for Chase Claypool. And Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a lot of free agents that are going to be on the running. Titans, of course, should be on the running for Bud. By the way, Bud Oldeblory. And there's also Juju Smith-Schuster on that list. I'm gonna feel glad to the team that gets Juju Smith-Schuster away from the Steelers. Even the AFC South contenders, because Juju got a better team. Now we move on to the divisional round predictions. That's right. It is time for the divisional round predictions. I will be giving out my divisional round matchups and predictions. Let's start off with the Los Angeles Rams versus Green Bay Packers. Jacob Stevens, you mentioned that Aaron Rodgers are up against the number one defense, and if you did your math, if you did your history, then you know that Green Bay Packers were 0-2 when facing the number one rushing defense, or at least run by Aaron Rodgers still. So yeah, is this the week that streak loses? Because the Rams, they are losing a lot of guys, in case you caught my injury report. But the Green Bay Packers, they have one doubtful. So I'm going to put in my prediction for each game. I predicted Packers would win 27-13. Because even though Jared Goff is playing, Cooper Kupp is questionable to play, and I can definitely see Aaron Rodgers having a good game with his MVP year. He could break that defense. He could break that defense. Aaron Donald, I don't know if even if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give the Green Bay Packers this victory. I believe the Packers will win this game and move on to the championships and we'll host for the championships because I'm pretty certain this guy because I lost faith in that defense. Sure, they beat the Seattle Seahawks, but here's the thing. Green Bay Packers are not like Seattle Seahawks. The Packers got up and moved up and the Packers got off their butts and moved on to the championships. Sure, there were some other players. There were other teams that had their bye week, but got beaten. We saw Tennessee Titans defeating Baltimore Ravens on their home turf last year, 28-12. But the thing is, the Packers are not going to be that team this year because the Packers got the guys to do it. And their injury report is short. I mean, seriously, Green Bay Packers. I seriously think they'll win this game. And now we move on to the chilling game on Saturday. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Buffalo Bills. And trust me, this game is big because there's a chance it's going to snow and Lamar Jackson may play his first game in the snow. If there's a chance it snows, it's going to be interesting to see Lamar Jackson play in the snow. I just hope he doesn't do what Titans Dennis Kelly did. I just hope he doesn't do what Titans Ben Jones did in the snow. I mean, seriously. I think we were cursed the day we fought Green Bay. I think Titans were cursed the day they fought Green Bay because Ben Jones was walking barefooted in the snow. So no Ravens and Bills should do what Ben Jones did. It is bad luck. Look, Ben Jones guaranteed it. If you walk around barefooted, you bring your team bad luck, and that's what Ben Jones did. So I don't want to see a Baltimore Raven or Buffalo Bill walking on the field barefooted. Still, if it turns into a snow game, it'll be Lamar Jackson's first time playing in the snow. I mean, there is a chance it's going to snow in that game. You have the Steelers defensive coach as our DC. Hopefully we have the Steelers defense. Wait a minute. Christian, are you sure about this? You see that? Gotta update it. He had an interview. Yes, I mentioned that. I mentioned it, Christian. I did mention that. But interview doesn't mean we are guaranteed. But right now, he's a top pick. I'm confident he will be there, though. Yeah, if he does end up as the defensive coordinator, he's going to be in some very big shoes, because don't forget, he was the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions and Cincinnati Bengals as well. So those are tough shoes to fill. Anyways, let's get back to my Ravens and Bills. Anyways, let's get back to my Ravens and Bills prediction. Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson will be playing his first game in the snow. If he doesn't, I feel good. But here's the thing. I got the Bills winning this game at least 30 to about 24. If any away game team is going to pull it off, it's definitely Baltimore. But right now, I'm placing my faith in Buffalo that they make it to the championship. Because seriously, true that it's good. True, if it snows, both sides are even, and there's going to be less points. But I think it could go either way. Which is why I'm going to be doing the play-by-play of this game Saturday night. Now we move on to the Cleveland Browns versus Kansas City Chiefs game, which is one of the 2 Sunday games. Cleveland Browns. This will be Kareem Hunt's trip back home, and it is going to be for a playoff spot. Last time the Chiefs played at home in the divisional round during a bye week, it was a very sloppy game, and it was against the Houston Texans. But the Chiefs came back to win. And now here they are again on another bye week, ready to take on the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, they're coming off a huge win against Pittsburgh Steelers, so I think they could get rusty a bit because Kansas City, they were on a bye week, and they're going to be I don't know which team's going to be rusty this time around. Will it be the Cleveland Browns, who scored over 40 points to defeat Pittsburgh Steelers, or will it be the Kansas City Chiefs, who apparently didn't play at all because of the bye week? My guess is that Cleveland's going to be sloppy. this time around. I don't see Kansas City losing this game. So yeah, I'm saying Chiefs win. I'm saying Chiefs win this. Got it. There, I got it. Chiefs win approximately 31-14. I got the Chiefs winning this game big time because I don't see Cleveland Browns getting past that Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, seriously. Cleveland Browns obviously used up most of their resources on defeating Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Kansas City Chiefs, they are going to host the AFC Divisional Championships. So, yeah, I'm going to... Good for you, C. Cruz. Guess we both have Bills and Chiefs winning. Now we move on to the final game. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus New Orleans Saints. Tom Brady versus Drew Brees. It is going to be the battle of the century. Sure, New Orleans Saints have swept the Tampa Bay Buccaneers during the regular season, but this is a playoff game, and now the two Titans are ready to face off. Not the Tennessee Titans, of course. I'm talking about the Titans, the knights in battle. Yeah. And who would have thought Tom Brady actually made it past his first wildcard game? I guess it was New England Patriots that were the problem. You have Saints and Green Bay winning for the NFC. And yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I have Saints winning, but here's the thing. I'm going to cut it close. I'm going to cut it close and say 31-28. Because this is a battle between Tom Brady and Drew Brees. And I'm pretty certain Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara are back to good health, so... And that's basically much it. I have Packers winning. I have the Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship. And I have New Orleans Saints versus Green Bay Packers for the NFC Championship. I think 41-31. Oh boy, C. Cruz. Anyways, that's basically much it. See you all next time on the next Stevens Podcast Show.